everything is something else. That's also an Eddie Cochran reference. I is another. Because, for Catherine, with that little epigraph to it, goes, they wandered through the hand in hand, which is a line from a Bill Knott poem. The reasons I like to be held by you are like paint by number results. Your touch speaks to make me what I'm spoken by it. And I understand that physically, as physicality is all and everything. The way that an excited poet once claimed to read Chinese ideograms sans prior knowledge, although in our case it's true. You, speechless, remove all my unknown by touch, and I happy then become, because it's you and no one else who does. Confession. I hate and fear sentimentality, but I have to admit that when I think of the beauty of the inside of my eyelids, it almost makes me cry. Poem. I always feel like what I write is actually only 2/3 of itself, because the other part is the writing's position in a story. I mean, the poem is part of something else that determines and completes it, and that other thing is indescribable. Say you are reading this now, which is a pretty safe bet, but no, in fact, I am writing it. Continuation. As I was waking up, wondering whether to get out of bed, I realized I couldn't remember the name of my dog, and I thought, that's it, dementia for sure. And then I remembered that I've never had a dog. Okay, that's the poems of the book I'm reading, and I have 2 last poems, and then we're going to do a little Q&A if anybody wants to ask me anything. These are a couple of poems that I have written since that book was published. The first one is about my friend who died, Tom Verlaine, and it's not so much about his dying, but about what it was like to learn that he died. Poem, Tom. How is it friends beings can enable one's own, even if there's not any contact? My friend Tom has died, and even though we opposed each other and hardly spoke for nearly 50 years, I can't understand that he ceased to exist, nor how it is that it diminishes me when I never saw him nor liked him for such a long time. I think he'd be furious that I presume to speak of him now. I'm only thinking sympathetically. It's not unearned emotion. I remember Ted Berrigan's elegy for Jack Kerouac. Bye-bye, Jack. See you soon. But they hardly knew each other, and Tom and I won't be seeing each other again. We spent the most impressionable days of our lives together, each the other's support and audience. It takes an audience to make a person real. It's even more true now that he's dead, because if he weren't, he'd probably contest what I'm saying. I wonder how he would have felt if I'd died first. One of the most shocking things I've learned with age is that my long assumed to most practical means for guessing how to behave toward another I care about in a confusing situation, namely by imagining how I'd want to be treated myself if the tables were turned. The golden rule, I suppose, is useless, because people are not that much alike, not even that much like themselves. It all comes to naught. But whatever it was before that, Tom was there with me. I came across a piece of information that heartened me a little in the online chatter following Tom's death. This guy named Buzz Poole, who'd invited me to write a foreword for the 2006 book he edited of photos of the graffitied walls of CBGB, CBGB, Decades of Graffiti, tweeted on 29 January 2023, quote, "In 2006, I was working on a book about CBGB graffiti. We reached out to Tom Verlaine about writing a foreword. His reply was basically, 'I can't stand the guy, but you need to have Richard Hell write this.' I've always found that quite touching, and Hell did write the foreword," close quote. 24 February 2023. I saw Tom in a dream this morning. It was in a little candy store on the south side of East Houston Street. He was kind and warm. Patty was with him. At one point, for some reason, my shirt was off, and she came over and fondly, sweetly touched my naked back. As they were leaving, Tom turned around and came back to ask if I'd like to go with him soon to a certain auction of interesting papers and books and objects, which invitation made me glad. Final poem. This is called Dawn with Hard-Boiled Egg. Fill the saucepan to the brim. We're gonna have some hard-boiled eggs. Turn the heat high, go back to work. Oh yeah, I remember I have an egg pan on. It's boiling hard. The carton on the counter lying open, 8 eggs left, one by one gently lowered in the water to the bottom with a soup spoon, fingers just shy of scorched. Set the phone timer and bring it back to the office room. After 10 minutes, unhurriedly, return to pour the boiling water from the pan into the sink. While the faucet water, streaming to the side there, gets fully frigid, then swivel the spout over the pan and lower that to rest in the sink, the cold water washing over the eggs till the pan overflows. The eggs look exactly the same as before, but I'm pretty sure their contents are now quite different. There's something satisfying about the way the water goes into the pan and out of it at the same time. Within a few seconds, the eggs are perfectly peelable while still warm inside, and the best thing you could want to eat, cracked against the sink and shucked to the white, bulging gloss with some salt and pepper strewn across, while from back when it first occurred that the water must be boiling, I felt like I was in a poem. Thank you. So I'm going to accept some questions. If somebody want to ask questions, then I will sign books for anybody who has books they want signed. I think that's in the bookstore. Does this thing work? Hello? Is that working?
Yeah.
Okay.